An active weather weekend and a busy travel weekend. That video just telling you part of the story there. Thanks for joining us on AccuWeather Weekend. I'm Azallion.
And I'm Melissa Constanzer. A lot of the video that you saw came in from Thursday night into Friday morning as we saw some of the destruction there from tornadoes. We had more tornadoes last night near southern Mississippi, lower Alabama, and we've got another risk today.
Yeah, that same system just chugging along to the east, bringing that severe threat along with it. So let's start off taking a look at satellite and radar, where you can see not a ton of precipitation, but we're seeing a lot of lightning, especially right here.
Yeah, that's on the first storm system. So the tail of that, you can see the core of it actually extending over the Great Lakes. That's lifting north. So one big long system there. The second one is just starting to form over Texas and Oklahoma, and that's going to ramp up with thunderstorms. As we speak, they're already forming through North Texas. And yes, there's a lot more activity throughout the west. Doesn't seem to end.
Of course, yeah. Taking a look at temperatures, this tells a little bit of a different story. If we just look, you're waking up to some visibility issues. So I know it's a big travel weekend. Maybe you're trying to get out the door first thing this morning. Well, in some areas like New York, we're down to 1 mile of visibility. This is not a widespread issue across the Northeast, but there's a stretch throughout central Pennsylvania where we're seeing areas even getting down to a 1/4 mile of visibility. So if you're especially in those areas and you're heading out on the roads, plan to give yourself some extra time. Make sure you have your headlights on and take it slow just because of those visibility issues. But that's not the only thing that could impact travel. Take a look at the...
We're continuing through this holiday week, and let's face it, we're getting close to the end of the year. So we wanted to share some of the best weather videos of 2024. Now, we scoured social media and all of the video from the past year to bring you some of the most captivating images from around the world, from tornadoes to animal rescues to some of the strangest things we've ever seen. Here's Damian Lotus.
I always love those holiday messages. Definitely wishing everyone a happy holiday season that I know is starting to get towards its end as we head towards New Year's. Thanks for sticking with us here on AccuWeather Weekend. 3 months after a great mission there, and unfortunately this weekend North Carolina will be seeing some rain that will have an impact on those recovery efforts. But as we look towards the north central region of the country, that's where a dry and mild pattern is setting in. We're seeing that rain off to the east for states like Michigan into Indiana and Ohio, but west of that it's dry, not just today but into tomorrow as well. So getting a little bit of a break from rain, snow, and all of that precipitation. Temperature-wise, things are looking mild. Of course, a happy Hanukkah to all who are celebrating. Another holiday coming up that I know many people are preparing for is, of course, New Year's. So here's a look at what to expect weather-wise for New Year's Eve. Unfortunately, some areas where weather is going to impact your plans, especially outside the Northeast, where I think the biggest celebration, of course, is happening in New York City. Unfortunately, we are going to be dealing with some rain for the ball drop. The rest of the country, though, really staying dry. We're seeing some snow over in the west, but of course this might be some good news for you, especially up in the mountain regions where it is ski season, and maybe that's how you're spending your New Year's Eve. Now, if you are heading to New York City, here's a look at what to expect for the ball drop. Pretty mild temperature-wise. We're seeing less of that rain, but we are also seeing rain and a snow mix, a wintry mix everywhere here in pink. So especially if this is a travel day for you, keep this in mind. Give yourself some extra time. Take it slow out there on the roads because that can create some slick conditions. Now, colder air setting in just off to the west from Ohio all the way over towards Illinois. But we're staying dry for the center of the country. Again, just seeing some of that snow out in the northwest and rain there on the coast.
Big concern, and it's not just today, but if you're trying to do some of that overnight driving potentially to avoid traffic, it will be a big challenge, unfortunately, with the showers, the thunderstorms, the wet weather, and possibly even down trees on roads.
After seeing confirmed tornadoes in the southern U.S. the last 2 days, we are looking at another day with a severe weather threat. And today, you'll notice this area of red, we are looking at a high risk of severe weather for this area. But everyone included on this map, whether it's yellow, orange, or red, has the risk of flooding, damaging wind gusts, hail, and tornadoes. Now, the types of severe weather, there's a little bit of a different scale here. Today, tornadoes are the highest risk from the Mississippi Valley to the Tennessee Valley, but that does not mean that we won't see some of those damaging wind gusts, flooding, and hail all possible. There have already been several tornado warnings throughout the morning, and we are expecting more of this severe weather as we head throughout the day. risk. We're seeing several days of this now. Temperature-wise for today, we're in the 60s, the 70s, pretty mild, pretty warm temperatures for end of December. Part of the reason that we're seeing this severe weather. 68 for Dallas, 77 for Houston there. And you see all an moderate risk for the areas in the orange here. But again, all types of severe weather are on the table.
Be ongoing. I want to take you through the rest of the night because a lot of this stormy weather will continue to the east, and well, there will be a change in probably the tornadic activity and certainly the type of tornadic activity we have. We're still going to have very powerful thunderstorms through Alabama, pushing towards places like Atlanta as we head into the morning hours. Several different tornado reports coming in the past few hours. You can see Mississippi, Louisiana, Arkansas, and Texas, and actually a few more, I think, if I would expand it to say maybe 18 hours of time frame there. Arkansas picking up the hail too. While they haven't had as many tornadic reports, they've had baseball size hail, so some of these thunderstorms really produce a powerful punch with damaging impacts. We've also had a lot of power outages. Those continue to go up in Louisiana, now 35,000 customers. When you got a line like this, it's going to put out more power. This evening, we watched this thunderstorm threat work its way into Mississippi. Still some cells potentially ahead of it, but the focus will be that line then as we turn through the night, because this line will be a damaging wind threat, but it will also have some potential to produce rotation anytime it gets a little bit of a bow or a kink, like you can see through some spots of the line. Could be a few cells out ahead of it, though it's not necessarily a given that that will happen. If it does, there's still that potential for some rotation as the storm will continue to push its way off towards the northeast. Look at all the rain, the rumbles of thunder out there right into daybreak tomorrow morning for Atlanta. So we do not stop following this line and the risk for severe weather until the morning hours, or actually essentially through the morning hours. And speaking of this storm, it's on the move off towards the northeast. It's going to bring rain to New York City as we go into tomorrow and especially tomorrow night. What that means is for states that have snow on the ground like Vermont, it's a rainmaker. There could be some risk of flooding, ice potential for New Hampshire and Maine. However, to the southern side, there's still that potential for severe weather. So tomorrow it is wet from Pittsburgh. Let's talk a little bit of western weather because we've had our share of stormy weather over the past few days, and it keeps coming for us this weekend. We're still on that storm track. In fact, as we speak, we're getting quite a bit of rain slugging its way into states like Oregon. Medford, we keep with the rain as we head into tomorrow. So to close out the weekend, there's still going to be moisture around, but I do think we are going to ease off of things in the next 24 hours. So we're going to lay off the gas, so to speak, as far as how much rain is going to be coming down. You can see there's still some of those showers in Salt Lake City. I wanted to show you if you're southwest, it gets pretty warm. Colorado to Arizona, California, you can see we do have those numbers cruising their way into the 50s. And actually, that's a Eureka, Nevada that should be there. But you can tell it is going to places like the Wasatch, into the Bitterroots, many different spots. But until then, the rain again continues to build. We do have that flooding threat going through the rest of the day into the night. And keep in mind, we do also have already a lot of rain this week in many of these locations. So this is just kind of adding to that threat for potentially some flooding or mudslides. As we get into the early week, if you want some drying out, we do just that. High pressure builds in here and we catch a bit of a break for Monday and Tuesday. It won't last all that long, but I think it'll be welcomed by most. You can see your Monday map showing you largely drier across the west. Little sneak peek into New Year's Day, because we know it's a busy week. Not only is the weekend busy with traveling and obviously some of the weather that's out there, but also the holiday itself is 4 days away, and the countdown of the countdown, right? Because New Year's is all about a big countdown. New Year's Eve, we start you off with the wet weather here, anywhere from the Great Lakes into the mid-Atlantic coastline. Plenty of rainfall stretching through this location. There will be some snow for parts of Michigan. We also get some of that mountain snow through Montana, Wyoming, so that's going to be kind of a magical time there. But much of the country trying to dry out. The way for New Year's Day is still trying to push out of here across the northeast, so still more rain to contend with. It does try to drag in more cold air on the backside, so we will find at least those numbers changing in time. Well, the northwest keeps at least a little bit of precipitation for New Year's Day. If you